It's time to get hot and bothered.
Oh, my.
You're tuned into the Talking Heat podcast with Hot Sauce Guide and FGC.
Turk, Slug, how you doing?
Doing good, buddy.
Doing great, living
It's beautiful.
luxurious life. It's a Sunday. I have a new hobby that I've failed twice at.
It's also
I was about to ask, is this trying to view some killer whales?
Yeah, I have a new hobby. Trying to go see orcas. They're orcas, killer whales. That's not nice. They're called
You
orcas.
snowflake.
Yeah. So I've tried to go see them twice now. I'm in a Facebook group. I don't have Facebook on my phone or anything anymore. But I've literally have kept Facebook only for so that I can check and try to track where the orcas are in the sound here. And we've gone twice now to go find them up. We live about 10 minutes away from a really nice park and right in the bay. The first time they had two choices. There's an island right where we live. They could go up the Colvos path or the I don't know what it's called, and they went to Colvos, and we were on the other side. So I missed them. And then the second time, they said they were coming down south from Seattle. So we drove out, literally got up in the middle of meetings and just left because that's how bad I want to see the orcas. And they were on the other side of the bay the whole time, and I didn't have binoculars, so I'm using my phone as a zoom. I got it at 20 times zoom. I'm lined up with 30 other people, and we're chatting, we're talking. And all of a sudden, I just hear every single person but me, the only person without binoculars, go, "Whoa, whoa, oh, that's so cool." And the damn whales are doing flips and showing off and playing with each other and all this stuff. And I'm just looking like an idiot. So immediately we left because I was frustrated because they refused to come to our side. So you literally can only see them with binoculars. So my fiance and I drove to Dick's, bought $100 binoculars that moment. And then yesterday, they were literally on the coast of where we normally go. And I had to work. We had newly admitted student day. And so I was touring off our apartment complex and residence hall while they were literally 75 feet off of where I was standing the day before. And my heart was broken. Absolutely broken.
Well,
so we're hoping that after this, I'll be able to go see some whales this evening. We're hopeful. We're hopeful that they stuck around. But who knows?
that is very cool that you're so close to being able to see them in real life. I know Slug has to watch Free Willy in order to try and see
I get a better view.
orca.
It's fine.
But let's get to it. Let's get to our guests. Today we have Bernie and John from Left Lane Pepper Company. How are you guys doing?
Woo!
We're good.
Yeah.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I have gotten the pleasure to try the sauces you guys sent and have been really interested in kind of the whole, not only the sauce because it's delicious, but your whole branding aspect with the heat scale as a gear shift, and the different tire treads on the labels. So that to me is really neat, and I kind of wanted to hear all about how you guys got into that. So the first thing we always like to do is kind of have you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves. Not only, hot sauce, but who are you guys out in the world outside of hot sauce?
You want to start?
How about you?
Okay. Well, I have a degree in engineering as well as a degree in interior design.
Oh.
I did not like engineering that much, so I went into interiors. I've been working, that's my main job was interiors. Now I'm into more construction project management. So I've been doing that, living in New York City. And when I'm not working and when I'm not making hot sauce. John and I actually like hiking and kayaking, and I'll throw in biking. So we like the outdoors. So now that we got this hot sauce company, it's a little harder to fit all these extracurricular things in, but we'll get back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So is New York City? I know I visited Turk on the West Coast in Seattle, and that seems to be a big outdoor um, place for outdoor enthusiasts. Is there a lot of places you can? Obviously, you have the ocean right there, but is there a lot of trails and things you can do your outdoor stuff there?
Well, we have Harriman State Park, which is relatively close to us, probably an hour outside of New York City. And then you could also take the train to a couple of the areas on the east side of the Hudson. So there's a lot of hiking trails there. We have gone kayaking in the Hudson River. And then we also have the Catskills and the Adirondacks, not too far. So depending on timing, we've got lots of options in New York State.
That's really cool. I'd never thought that you could take the train to go hiking. That just seems like such
I
a
know,
weird
it's a little...
sentence to say. I get on the train. You take your boots and your backpack and everything like that and just hop on the train?
Yes, actually.
Very cool. That's awesome.
That's her natural inclination
All
because
right.
she hasn't driven a car in 10 years.
Okay. Rather hoof it and take the train.
I spent my lifetime actually in the car industry, so I still take a car.
Oh, little Easter eggs, Mark. We're starting to figure out why it's left lane. We're gonna get there. That is life in the industry. Okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, in segue, whenever we do go to some of these state parks, we get there pretty quickly because I drive way too fast all the time. I hope you guys don't hand over this podcast to the state police in New York anytime soon.
No.
At least outside of the statute of limitations. And, I drive too fast. Bernie has become very good at complaining about the slowpokes in the left lane, even before I do, which is quite a miracle. And that's where Left Lane Pepper Company came from. I drive too fast, and as I said, I worked in the car business for over 20 years. I've worked for Mercedes-Benz, for Volvo cars, for Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat. As a group, as a company group. I've worked in the U.S. I've lived and worked in Egypt. I've lived and worked in Moscow, Russia, in the car business, and experience is everything automotive for me. All right. So when it came time to decide that we wanted to do something with hot sauce, it was almost a no-brainer to pick that as a theme for our brand, because you just do what you know. You just do what you know.
Certainly. Well, then you have such a wide variety of hobbies and experiences, from engineering degrees and interior design and being in automotive sales. What got you in the hot sauce game?
Well, we used to go to this small little taqueria. I think most people end up going to a small little taqueria run by like a mom and pop, and at 4 tables. And I think that's where a lot of people just start enjoying the hot sauce, the flavors, the homemade hot sauces. And then during COVID, it closed down. Actually, when we were going there, we always asked for the hotter sauce, and they would make a special little batch for us. And that was actually the Arbol hot sauce. And so every time we went there, they kind of knew we wanted it. So they would just say, "Would you like the hot sauce?" And we would say yes. And they would just make it for us. And this little taqueria, there's maybe 4 tables in there. 4, I'll even push it to 5.
Oh, wow.
But that's where we started eating the Arbol pepper sauce. And then once it closed, we just decided to try to make it ourselves. I mean, we made it our own, but we enhanced it. But that was the start. We couldn't get to the little taqueria during COVID. It closed temporarily. So that's the beginning of our hot sauce
Yeah. So
adventure.
if your source is gone, your
Yeah,
restaurant
do it
closes.
yourself.
What do? You start a company.
Yeah, right. Easily, yeah. I was hungry. Yeah, McDonald's is closed, so I just made the second best hamburger chain in the country. Something like that. It's easy.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right.
So, all because you really missed your taco hot sauces, you go ahead and you whip up your first. And then how did it snowball from there? Like, did you just make it with the idea you wanted something tasty when you make tacos at home? Or did you have the idea, you know what? Instead of just making it for ourselves, we should jump on board and just instantly start selling this?
But we both liked to travel. So for my work, I had to travel all over Latin America. For 4 years, I was responsible actually for 20 countries throughout Latin America, Central America, and Caribbean. And every time I flew to a different place, I would stop at the local grocery store and pick up some bottles of hot sauce from that particular country. And I would bring it back, and my fridge was loaded with hot sauce. Because I traveled so much, I didn't have any food in the fridge, but I had lots of hot sauce in the fridge. And Bernie and I we tried it. We tried all these different ones, and we saw which flavors we liked, what we didn't like, and we started to play around with just for ourselves, with no intention to start a company, just to see what did we like and how could we make it.
Yeah. And then I traveled too, and I do the same thing. I would go to the local grocery store, find a few bottles or find some spices and take it home and taste it, try to cook with it, do something with all the different hot sauces and spices that I got.
Very neat. So you said
So,
oh, go ahead, Turk.
nope, go ahead. You're the host.
So you said that it temporarily closed. Has the restaurant reopened, and have they tried your version of the hot sauce?
Well, it has opened, but we have not given them our hot sauce. We didn't want them to be upset.
Especially because we think ours is better.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now it comes out.
There you go. There you go.
Well, fortunately, I don't think they're among our podcast listeners, so the secret is still safe.
Good.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, we're not rats, so we won't rat you out. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Do not
Thank
worry
you.
there.
If they loved you as much as you love them, they would have to respect that you did an homage to them. You weren't stealing nothing. They had their own homemade hot
That's
sauce.
true.
You just wanted to replicate it. You wanted to honor them. And if you make a couple bucks off it, so be it. All right? The early bird gets the worm. All right? They didn't try it. You guys jumped on it. That's fantastic. Now back to you, partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I kind of just wanted to know how things have shifted. So when you first started with one sauce, where are we at now? What's the dedication and the timeline of how are you? What's the investment look like now in Left Lane versus like maybe when you first started and your goals there?
Yeah. So really, most of our real experimentation started 2 years ago. And we were focused mostly on the arbol sauce, which ended up turning into our range anxiety arbol pepper sauce, which has a really nice cumin. It's cumin, it's arbol peppers, carrots. It's a really nice sauce. And we expanded with 3 more flavors, so we have a 4 flavor offering. All of them have a kind of automotive theme to them in terms of their name, and we can talk about that shortly. But we were just playing around, and a year ago, I had actually lost my corporate job during COVID, and I spent time looking for something new during the COVID period. And about a year ago, I decided to just go into business for myself in consulting, doing automotive consulting, and we had hesitated doing anything as a hot sauce company because if I took another job and Bernie has her full-time job, we simply wouldn't have the time to properly run a hot sauce company. And now suddenly a year ago, I made the decision to work for myself, and that's when we decided, you know what, let's invest that time. Let's start a hot sauce company. It'll be a lot of fun. We may or may not make any money doing it. But we're going to meet a lot of really cool people and have a fun time trying to build a business.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So can you tell me I know you have 4 flavors. We've got the range anxiety Arbol pepper. What are the other 3? And I think we're trying the mango habanero one, right?
So the mango, the Hazard Lights mango habanero is our hottest, and that is gear 5. Um, and actually, the tire on that one, I'm just going to start off with that one, is actually the tire. One of my friends does like some sort of racing, and that's the tire from his racing car.
Mm.
So, and then
It's a Ford Mustang.
it's a Ford Mustang.
Okay, that's cool.
And then the one with the lowest heat level is called Learner's Permit Easy Jalapeno.
That's cute.
That's good.
And
That's good.
The tire print on that one is actually one of my good friends. She has had her learner's permit for a good 25 years. She's never had to drive, but she's had her learner's permit. Her husband drives, and that is the tire on the Forester that they drive. That
Okay.
she can't drive, and actually her learner's permit did expire recently.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's good for 20 years. I'd have to check with my local DMV, but I think that might be a shy outside of the range.
Well, she has renewed it multiple times,
Okay,
but she
okay.
still has the learner's
Still has
permit with the picture from 25 years ago, and most of us don't look like we did 25 years ago.
Yeah, we told her if she gets pulled over, she should just hold up a bottle
That's good.
and see if the police officer.
Then the next level is the burning rubber chunky chipotle, and the tire print on that is from a Land Cruiser. John doesn't have it anymore, but it's inspired by the Land Rover
Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser. Oops, that
Not a Land Rover.
that he loved. So
Yeah.
that's our next. You have the range anxiety, and then which is actually an electric car, a tire from one of our friends who drives a Polestar electric car, and so that's why we called it range anxiety, because a lot of people considering electric cars are worried how far they will go. So that's how far they'll travel on the battery. So that's why it was called range anxiety.
But we made sure that you always reach your flavor destination. So we make sure you don't run out before you
The
get
guarantee
there.
I'm looking for.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
there are 4 sauces.
So at what point did you all when did the idea come to use like a different tread for each bottle, and finding the treads from like people and experiences that like what was the creative process for that?
I think we talked about all these things a lot. Just like the branding, and it started with one tire print, and then somehow it was, why don't we do a different tire print for each flavor, and it somehow matches the flavor in some way. There's a relationship between them, and we thought the more humorous or cool the story was in the background, that it would be just more fun to do that. And so we've got these 4 flavors. We talked about our logo, the Left Lane Pepper Company. So you see it on my shirt. The words left lane are actually in the passing lane on the solid side of the line. They are passing the words Pepper Company. That's kind of how we thought about it. Bernie literally thought about this logo in her sleep. She woke up in the morning and said, "Hey, give me a pad."
So I had to just scribble it out, and that's how we got our logo.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That is awesome.
So where did the flavors? Where did you come up with those? Is it? We know about the one was inspired by your love and missing your sauce at the when you eat tacos. But where did you come up with, or what inspired you for those other flavors?
Well, we both love Chipotle, so I think that was probably the next one we started experimenting with. So we got some dried Chipotles. There's always like a basic recipe, and then we ended up buying some hot Chipotles from, what was it, the chili guy?
Yep.
Somewhere out in New Mexico. and we bought some of those and just started experimenting with and we liked calling it chunky chipotle. So it literally is pretty chunky, tomato based. So that's how we got into that one. And I think the jalapeno, we were just thinking of something not as spicy. So then we just thought of the learner's permit, something to help people start their journey into hot sauce or enjoying it. We didn't want anybody to be hurting, burning any body parts. We just wanted to add flavor. So there's a little bit of heat, but like we said, it's a learner's. Like it's a baby step.
I think our biggest goal was to have different flavors, and they each had absolutely their own personality, right? So they have here, Bernie, if you take some. So we have really different colors. Each one has a completely unique color: green and dark red for the chipotle. We've got the bright orange habanero, and then the kind of brown, golden color of the arbol. Each one has a completely unique flavor. Bernie, with her design background, was really great about insisting to have a different color and a really different personality for each of the sauces in that way. So that when you see them right next to each other, they completely pop in terms of different colors. And they're all extremely different in terms of their flavor composition, and they don't have a similar heat footprint, right? Some are milder, one is more spicy, and then the other two are somewhere in between in the spectrum. None of them are designed to burn out any front end, back end. That's not our mission. Our mission is really flavor, texture, color, and then of course there is heat, but it's not the main focus.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what would you say, or each of you choose as like your best pairing for each sauce? So like, what is your go-to meal or food to pair with?
I like for breakfast when I'm eating our hot sauce, I do like the jalapeno and the arbol on just my eggs. Sometimes if I have breakfast sausage, I do enjoy the habanero on that because it's sweet. And sometimes I get this apple sausage, chicken sausage for breakfast sometimes. So I like pairing the habanero with that in the morning. The chipotle, I think we'll both agree that we love it on burgers, just kind of like a heavier meat, beef. Mm-hmm. It's good on chicken, but I tend to like it more on beef. The habanero, we like it on our fish tacos. And then also on the lighter, like chicken or pork, if they're not seasoned heavily. So that will add some fruit flavor, whether it's on a taco or just grilled, or we don't have a grill, so we have to do pan grilled in our New York kitchen. But those are just like simple foods that we can add lots of flavor, add lots of punch to just foods. Also, they're really good on veggie burgers. We eat veggie burgers a lot. We're not vegetarian, but we do enjoy them, and I think a lot of the times we have either the arbol. I think I use all of them. Just depends on the day.
Right.
What I pull out of the refrigerator, but I can eat any of them on a veggie burger. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add one, I agree with almost all of those. Another thing we love to do is we just take hummus and we just put some of the chipotle in there, so you get some heat and some smoke in the hummus, and it's fantastic on crackers or on other types of bread or something like this.
And somebody we tried it once. They mixed the habanero with cream cheese and then spread it on their bagel. And we tried it. It wasn't bad. So you've got the sweet, and then because it's dairy, it what's the right word? Dissipates the heat. So you still get the sweet, some heat, but you've got the cream cheese there too.
And this is New York City. You have to put it on.
There you go.
Since moving to the West Coast, there's nothing. We were literally talking about this last night. There's nothing my fiance and I love more than like a bagel, and they just suck out here. They're just so bad. There are places that try, but nothing can compete to like a East Coast bagel. And I that like literally we've traveled like over an hour to different places that have claimed that they have like close to East Coast bagels, and it's just nothing.
Not
Nothing
the same.
here is the
It's the
same.
water. They
Yeah,
say it's the water.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but it needs to happen. I need someone to build a direct line here because I just miss bagels so much,
My heart breaks for you.
so
The
much.
plight, your plight is so heartbreaking that you don't get bagels. You have orcas and everything else your heart
Water?
desires, but no bagels. Ugh.
Yeah, I haven't seen snow since
Yeah, yeah.
February, so that I mean, yeah, it has
You're
its advantages,
practically
I guess.
roughing it over
Snow. It
there.
just snowed 2 weeks ago there.
For like a second, and then we had like 70-degree weather again. So yeah,
No
it's pretty
love.
tough living in
I
the
never thought
ocean,
of
I
spicy
guess.
bagels.
No
None.
love from sun.
So I'm interested as someone who, and I don't know if you can let us know if you guys have prior to doing this any contacts in the food or service industry, but you worked in the automotive industry, your interior design. Um, what was it like trying to go from, hey, we have a recipe, to now we want to sell and distribute this? What was it like trying to find either a kitchen or a co-packer, or what were the trials and tribulations like doing that?
Oh, you can start with
I'll
that.
start with that one. Yeah, I think it was like end of March last year that we decided let's go for it, and we spent about a month or so, a little over a month, just researching everything. You know, looking at what's required to sell it across state lines. What's you know, we didn't know what a process authority was when when everything started. So we learned about the process authority. We learned about the cooking process and the regulations. We learned about you know, co-packers and rented kitchens, shared kitchens. Um, we learned everything. We learned about trademarking. We learned about packaging. We learned about warehouses that have to be FDA certified. You know, we didn't know anything about the food business, and we just researched and researched until we felt that we were at a point where we looked at each other and said, we can do this. We think we can do this. And so it was a coincidence, but it was 420 last year that we started the company as an LLC. Nobody believes us that it was a coincidence, but it was a coincidence. And so we just celebrated actually our 1 year birthday as an official
Company.
limited liability company the other day, and we kind of split the responsibilities. I did a little bit more of the financial side, the IT stuff, you know, setting up the things we needed to do ultimately on the computer. Bernie did a lot of the purchasing. She was really good at that, and she can talk about that in a second. Um, but it was a lot of research, and we, you know, in retrospect, it was weird. We didn't talk to anyone in the food business. We probably should have asked advice, but we just researched it on our own and kind of came to our own conclusions and went from there.
And then listening to other hot sauce makers, we all did the same thing, which is surprising. Which is not surprising, but surprising that we all followed the same track, just doing the research, setting up the company, the process authority, insurance, deciding if we do it. We were originally going to use a co-packer in the beginning, and then they had a labor issue, and they kept pushing and pushing our cook dates out, and we were going to miss Christmas last year. So of course, because of my project management experience, I searched, found a kitchen, found a kitchen in upstate New York, and the woman there at Nelson Farms was really nice. She said, "I'll help you. Don't worry." She recommended we hire somebody to help us in the kitchen that knows their way around, knows the equipment. So we did get somebody to help us produce the hot sauce, just one person, but we had our process authority, all the directions. So it was easy. I did have to call suppliers for all the vegetables, had to order all the peppers. Because it was my first time ordering things, I was probably a little nuts when people did not respond to me by phone. When I said, did you get my, did you get my down payment? Did you get this? Are we set for Monday? And if they don't respond within a day or two, I'm like nervous. So I'm calling them in between my work.
I sit 6 feet away from Bernie all day long, and I can tell you, you do not want to be project managed by Bernie.
Yeah.
I have no patience. So, I mean, I get people are busy and they'll respond eventually. But, this is our first time, like ordering, I don't know, 100 pounds of tomatoes or, onions and carrots. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to deliver it. Like, what if they don't? We're in trouble.
Professionalism and common courtesy.
And it's in upstate New York. Yeah, so.
And the bottles.
And the bottles. We ended up, when we first started making samples, we were able to get the bottles, the 5-ounce bottles, pretty easily. And then COVID and the whole supply issue, we could not get them locally at all.
On the East Coast?
On the East Coast. I did my research, did my investigating, found a pallet in California. So we just got all of it, a whole pallet of 5-ounce woozy bottles, sent it here, and it's in storage. We used half of it for our first batch of hot sauces. And then also we had to order the metal caps. What was it? The
shrink wrap.
The shrink wrap from
seals.
somebody else. Like everything. Ideally, we would have gotten it all from one supplier, and that's what we did when we first. That was our goal, and then we just had to make sure the caps worked with the bottles, the shrink wraps worked with the bottles and the lids. So I'm ordering shrink wraps. I'm like, I felt guilty ordering, I think they're like 5 cents a piece or 2 cents a piece. I'm like, I'll just get 10. So it's like, and then the shipping was like $5 for a shrink
to
wrap. Test it all. Even the metal cap. Like, I only need 2 metal caps because I had 2 bottles. So even the bottles, I had to get them from the 2 bottles from California shipped over just to make sure that everything worked together.
Yeah, so it's just like this, like piecing together all these different parts to just make like one machine when just because of all of the issues. That's tough. That I'm sure that was probably super stressful. I couldn't imagine.
But it all came together. It all came together. We showed up at the commercial kitchen up near Syracuse on an early November morning, and everything was there.
Awesome. That's good.
We made our hot sauces. But it was actually really good to kind of see how to make it. I mean, we've made it at home in our kitchen. We had the approved recipe, but to actually make it, because we were going to, like we said, we were going to have a co-packer. But now if we ever went to a co-packer, we know what to look for, what extra questions to ask. Like I can't think of a question right now, but just
like
based
how
on
fine, like we like chunky sauces, but not too chunky. And our commercial kitchen, their equipment was probably not able to chop it fine enough. So it's probably a little bit too much on the chunky side at the moment. And we try to get it a little bit finer the next time, especially the chipotle, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at least that's a question we know to ask, like how fine would they be able to?
What kind of equipment they have? Yeah. Just we had to bring in the one. So some of their knives weren't sharp enough, so we had to bring our own knives. Just like little things. So
yeah, it's just it's a pretty big learning process, and now and just being able to now you've got more tools in the tool belt and can just make the process more efficient, better. Yeah, that's super cool, and glad that it all worked out, because I feel like I would have probably just been losing my shit, just like uh, just worrying and stuff. But I'm glad that everything worked out, and I'm super hyped to try it here pretty soon, so that way um, we can talk more about that. But I have like a left, like out of, not like a left lane kind of question, like going into pulling another there, but um what it doesn't necessarily need to be your sauce, but as fans of hot sauce, uh what is like a dark horse pick, or something that you like to put hot sauce on, that like somebody like might look at you and go like, that's a little weird. Like Slug and I have done a lot of dumb things with hot sauce, baby food, ice cream, um,
Mhm.
oatmeal, just to see if it's good. Just to, you won't know until you try it. And I don't expect you to go that extreme. But what are some things that you like to either put your sauces on, or hot sauce in general, that a normal person might be like, that's a little weird.
That might
Perfect.
actually be easy to answer.
She's looking
Oh,
at you like
okay.
there's nothing I
The
do
dessert.
that's weird.
Oh,
She gave you that look like, what could I possibly put hot sauce on? That is not. Yeah.
I am the weird one.
well, we have a hot sauce in another hot sauce in development, which you can put on. It's a
Yeah.
dessert hot sauce.
mm.
So that's in process. So
Oh, I
maybe
would
you
love.
guys, we will send you samples. You could be at one of our
Personally,
taste
PB and
testers for
J. We
that
put
one.
Shaquanda's
So,
curry on PB and J, and we put a pineapple on ice cream and some
oh wow.
cereal. So I'm all about a dessert. I think sweet heat is a underlooked
Yeah.
like market that you got. Everyone's all about the umami right now. Forget that. I want sweet heat. I want spicy desserts.
We were
That's
at
cool.
a market in Brooklyn
Hmm.
recently, about a week or so ago, and there was a guy literally eating an ice cream just outside, 10 feet away from where we were doing some taste testing. And I went outside and I convinced the guy, hey, come on in for 1 second and just try this hot sauce on your ice cream, on your,
Yeah.
it was like a bar, ice cream
Like
bar.
a
Hmm.
chocolate layer, like
Yeah.
a chocolate crust with vanilla.
So he took
Hmm.
some of the
Yep. Yep.
Hazard Lights mango ginger habanero, and he put some on the corner of the ice cream, and he ate it, and his girlfriend tried it as well, and they were just, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is so cool. We don't really like stuff that's too hot, but you get the
Hmm.
heat, and then it cools you off immediately. So it's a really cool sensation.
People,
So, but I will say I did do it once because my friend does like savory oatmeal. So she puts an egg on
Interesting.
oatmeal,
Okay.
like a runny egg on oatmeal.
Hmm.
And so I didn't. I used the oat. We have oat
Hmm.
bran, so I did oat bran with a runny egg, and I put tomatoes and our hot sauce on it. It was
We
actually
did
pretty
have an
good.
instant cup of oats
That
maker, and
sounds
I
good.
don't think
Yeah.
we liked our hot sauce choice with oatmeal. We did douse our oatmeal. That one was a good. The Twinkie got a gag reaction out of Turk. The baby food didn't go down very well, but we had some
Mhm.
dark horse picks in that little episode we did. So that's great.
Yeah, I think we had what it was, some like a muffin or something like that we put the
Okay.
hot
Oh
sauce on,
yeah,
that dessert sauce that we were playing around with. I mean,
put
when
on.
when
Hmm.
when Bernie started experimenting with that one, she
Uh,
put way too many red habaneros in there, and a little bit of fruit, and it was a killer. I mean,
oh, it's
no amount of
horrible.
ice cream, Ben and Jerry would have gone into the next dimension. So she had to tone it down with a lot more fruit, and it's now it's really actually really good. So
Yeah.
And cocoa. So
yes,
we had to
there you
add
go.
some
Mm.
cocoa too.
chocolate.
I catch some flack sometimes because I always
Sounds
do food
cool.
pairings with my hot sauce review. What it might go well with, and a sweet, like something with pineapple or berries. I'll sometimes say cheesecake or ice cream, and people are like, "What?" It goes.
Hmm. People put tahini on mango all the time, so why not make a
Yeah,
hot
it
sauce
does.
that you can put right on a mango or
It
a
really does.
pineapple or dip some strawberries in? I'm about it.
Yeah. Yeah, chili and fruit is super super good. So, it's just people just need to open
Hmm.
their damn palates and live a little. I wouldn't say that they need to just go get like uh, brown sugar and cinnamon oatmeal and throw in
Yeah.
whatever dumb sauce we put in there because we're idiots. But people can just live a little and just
Hey,
try a little. But we do dumb stuff.
10 years ago, people were
Exactly.
putting bacon into everything.
Oh yeah,
Which
donuts.
I understand that one
Okay.
less than I understand hot sauce on ice cream.
Yeah. Well, hey, I gotta defend as a big man, as fat guy certified, quite a few things. A bacon donut
The,
is
we
fire.
did have a
I
make and
love it.
maple
I
once
I love it.
in
love.
It's
I
Cleveland,
good.
and
love.
that was pretty
Yeah,
tasty.
um, that's that's my go-to donuts here, and like Voodoo and stuff is the maple bacon bars. They're pretty damn
Mm.
good. Probably more so the maple. Like I just love a good maple donut. But a lot of places here will sprinkle bacon on their maple donuts. Yeah. But I saw Hot Sauce guy doing a little bottle tapping.
Yeah,
Is it time? Is it
let's
is
give it
it
a whirl. I
time?
don't know. Slug, no. Okay. So, due to some technical difficulty,
Okay.
Slug doesn't have his, but Turk and I
It's worse
will
when you can see it too.
try it out
It's
here. And
right
Okay.
there in the closet, right above where I could reach.
Oh no!
Oh,
Describe it to me. Paint me a
yeah.
picture
So
like it tastes
uh
as it coats your tongue.
do you
it's thick.
well, you know
Yeah,
what
you
we'll
gotta like
do?
once you get the it's like ketchup. You gotta get the
All right, so
first
it's a
part
thick one.
out, and then after
Right.
that it flows.
What we can do there,
I will
Sluggerino,
try it once I
is
get it.
we'll just why don't you when you try it,
You want me to shoot my own separate video, and then even though it's all out of
you try
context, you
it.
could put it right here. So I'll just talk over everybody because that'd be
No,
great.
no, I was gonna say we could just do it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
We could just do it on social media. Like we'll just
Hmm.
throw it out there, see your initial reactions and stuff too.
Or
Yeah,
you can
most
So
cook
certainly
that
I can
way.
do that.
something
I
and
can
put it on the
instead of
food.
just trying it
That would be
like
good.
by
Mm,
itself. I like that. I can get some inspiration from you guys here.
Yeah, you can make something delicious
Okay.
and add it.
Hot sauce guide. How
Most
much did you
beautiful.
go? Because I have to do the same amount you do. Okay, all right, cool. So I suffer from fragile masculinity, and I have to make sure that I'm doing as much or equal parts to hot sauce guide, even though I don't nearly have the tolerance that he does.
It's more
So
fun that way.
it's just my own little quirk and fault.
It is. I like the
Smells
aroma.
delicious.
Yep.
Smells delicious. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Bottoms up.
That is very tasty. I'm gonna start
Eyeballing
hiccuping
you.
now
I'm
because
looking
it has
for it.
habanero in it, and that's just my general reaction to anything habanero. But that is delicious. That is very very sweet.
I enjoy it. It's
I'm gonna go
Yep.
more.
round two. Now that I think about this, because it is the mangoes and the sweetness to it, this would be good with make a spicy English muffin
Oh,
or
there it
something
is.
on it. It's almost like a jam, a little bit.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like a
smooth
smooth
Yeah.
chutney
Yep.
in that sense.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my standard. Anytime I have habanero, I just start hiccuping.
Oh, it's great. It's just a
It's
reaction.
you can give me any hotter pepper. It doesn't happen, but a habanero sends me
But
into.
this is good.
Oh
There are
yeah.
too many hot sauce
Oh, it's
fakers
authentic.
out there. Now we know it's authentic.
You hiccuped.
Oh, yeah. I oh my goodness. I just want to try it.
Breathe through it.
Breathe, Ryan. Breathe.
Yeah. Whatever.
Okay,
I
Slug,
don't
you
know
have
what
to
we're doing
make
for dinner
something
tonight,
really
so
good
maybe I'll
and
look
put
for
the sauce
eggs,
on
or
it.
we'll do maybe a chicken dish, a pasta. Yeah, I've been craving
I think you can mix
macaroni
it
and
up with
cheese.
pasta would
Maybe
be
I'll
good
get
too.
some sort of mac and cheese and sprinkle this.
That would be good.
We've been trying a lot of
That'd be
mango
good.
habanero lately. Everyone's
Yeah.
got a decent mango habanero, so I'm really excited to try this chutney. And I like it thicker. I like to spread it on things. I don't always want it to run everywhere. I love taking eggs and putting it on jelly, anything. So I'll either put jelly on a pancake and put a runny egg, or an English muffin or toast. So maybe I'll do that. Get a little sweet jelly and an egg and this
Yeah.
hot sauce and just let it all come together in my mouth.
I did. One of my contractors that I work with, he is Irish.
Yeah.
Where salt might be too spicy for him, and
Okay.
he ordered some hot sauce, and he actually bought
Whoa,
2
cool.
boxes of hot sauces, and he was going to give one as a gift, and he ended up saying that he
Whoa,
loves the
okay.
habanero, the ones that you guys just tried.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Mr. Light Fair skinned, just the stereotypical Irishman, and he decided to keep all the hot sauces for himself. So now he's considered a gift
Yeah.
taker,
Yes.
a
Gift
gift eater, and I don't think he puts a lot of it on, but he just loves the flavor of the mango, the sweetness on his sandwiches. So just a little bit of heat, and it works for him. So
I
we're
want to start
happy. I'm
using hot
happy that
sauce
he
on a sandwich,
enjoys
but
it.
I don't know the technique I
yesterday-
want to do yet. Like, I don't know if I need to mix it with the mayo because I don't want to just take a couple random drops and have it soak in the bread and look funny. Like, I just haven't figured out how I want to prepare the sandwich, but I would love to try some hot sauces on sandwiches. I try to eat a sandwich a day.
I've done that
Okay.
with
Okay.
using chipotle
Okay, a sour
together with
cream.
mayo or even like a sour cream, something like that as a spread.
Sour cream is good.
So yesterday I had we went to a pizza place here, and I had they called it the Bing Bong because of the viral TikTok, but it's a East Coast pizza. But it's essentially they took like an East Coast like deli sandwich, but like deconstructed it and put it on a pizza. So you even had like the vinegar with the mixed in with like the lettuce and the onion. I would do like a little bit of mayo with this, spread that on there, and I think this would be absolutely killer with like the little bit of the vinegar from like the oil and vinegar, but with the ham, I think like or like the like a ham or like a capicola, I think this would go really really good and like add like a subtle sweetness to that kind of that bite that you would get. That this was absolutely killer. I love the
Yeah, I
taste
like
of it.
grilled cheese and ham, and I'll add
Yeah.
that one. The
Yeah,
habanero to
sourdough.
that.
that would
Okay,
be
now
really
that
really
might
good.
be what I do tonight. I was
Really,
just
really
explaining.
good.
I have some sourdough, and I
Yes.
explained
The
like
wheels are
no,
turning.
if you get like if you're gonna paint the Mona Lisa, you don't put it on computer paper, construction paper. You have to get that fine palette, that canvas, and so that's the sourdough upstairs. I wasn't just gonna make a standard turkey and an American cheese on that, but I do have like 3 different kinds of cheese. I think I still have some leftover thick cut ham. I might go to town and make a very artisanal ham and cheese on sourdough, and I'll add this hot sauce to it. That's where my head's
That
going.
sounds
Yeah, if that's not tonight,
That
that's
sounds good.
tomorrow.
I'm
Yep.
coming over
sounds
for dinner.
good.
So,
Always.
You'll have to make
Cool.
sure that you film yourself enjoying that, so that way we can throw that up on the internets there.
so
Host is yep.
So
Dealer's choice.
no, you're the host. You're the hostess. You win every time.
how do you guys, I'm sure it started with, friends and family, and I know you guys are online. Do you guys go to markets or shows? How are you getting your sauce out to people? Where do they, are you guys in different stores? What's that process been looking like?
So we started off online only because it was the winter. We started selling right after Thanksgiving and the holidays, so it was all online. January is still online, and we started like sending samples to small gourmet shops, and one of them, Hot Sauce Realm. We sent some to Ashley. We've sent it to a couple. Burn Your Tongue? We've sent some cases to them. There's another place I can't remember off the top of my head.
Upstate New York.
So some small gourmet stores. I'm trying to reach out to, because it's automotive themed, I'm trying to find some gourmet shops close to, we'll just say racetracks. So there's Watkins Glen in New York. There's a place near Indianapolis. I found a store there. I'm going to try to reach out to them. Charlotte. So we're going to try to reach out to some of these small stores that maybe they could be gourmet, but because they're close to some sort of driving facility, it could work. We also just started going to some car shows. So we had our first one a few weeks ago. It was a season opener. So it was really cool. So we met. Because I don't drive, and I did not know there was
it's huge.
such a thing as
Car culture.
They have these fancy garages where all these expensive cars are garaged there, and they had an opener there, and people walk around and look at all these expensive cars.
You had Lamborghinis and Ferraris and top line BMWs and Aston Martins and Porsches. Those were all the new ones, the new hardware, and then you had all the classics, the GTOs and old Camaros and so on. So it was really amazing. And then people, they got it, right? They saw our brand and they understood where we're coming from.
So we went there. We did one in Brooklyn, a pop-up there, and we have a couple other upcoming car shows, so we can relate our hot sauce and car enthusiast brand together. So I think that's kind of like our goal.
And then the other one is corporate, some corporate gifts. So, for example, I can't tell the name of the company yet. We'll do a post on it sometime soon. But there's a brand new supercar company, basically like a Ferrari fighter, that's going to be launching sometime. I don't even know the exact year when they're going to start producing the car. I think 2023. But we partnered with them, and we did a kind of a dual badged hot sauce. We've got their brand name at the top of the bottle, and then we've got our brand name at the bottom, and we have a kind of a hidden silhouette of their car on the front of the bottle, because nobody knows what the car looks like yet except the team that's working on it. And then at some point we'll have the permission to do a Instagram and Facebook and other introduction to show the cooperation that we did with them.
That's freaking cool.
So which is kind of cool, because we'll help kind of crack open the knowledge into the automotive market about this brand new supercar that's going to be coming in the future, which is really fun.
That's super, super cool.
So, and then we're trying to line up with some other car companies, because I have contacts in so many different auto manufacturers just because of my history. We've already talked to another one which is very, very well known, and I promised Bernie I will send them some graphics samples this week to see if we can get something lined up for the end of the year.
For the holidays. They got to start planning for the holidays now. Christmas.
That's true.
Remind me.
That is true. I just want to get to Christmas in July, and then I'll worry about real Christmas, but it's separate world.
Remind me, I live in Kansas, outside of Kansas City, and the NASCAR track here is next to a giant outdoor mall. There may be some places that you might be able to try and get some of your sauce in around the NASCAR track there.
Okay.
Take a look. We got to do some research. A lot of research. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And trying to figure out what works the best, right? I mean, the e-commerce sales, it's a constant slog. You're trying to post on Facebook, Instagram. Bernie does a lot of that for us. I'm the one who's doing more of the work on the LinkedIn, with a more business oriented slant to it, not so glamorous, but more, the story behind the story kind of thing. And we're just trying to, grow the interest, grow the base of people that are interested in the brand who are going to order. So, yeah.
And then once, when we went to that one season opener, we met, some car enthusiasts, and we're one of the guys invited us to be a vendor at their Cars and Cigars show next month. So we're meeting some good people, some helpful people. Everybody's super helpful. Like yesterday, I reached out to one. I'm like, I'm trying to find some events, upcoming events that we can showcase our hot sauce. And he gave me some names of some upcoming places. So it's good. I mean, I think everybody in the community, the hot sauce community, is helpful. And they see we're a small business, and the car enthusiasts, and it looks like they're trying to help us too. So that's all we can
Since
ask
we're
for.
talking about this
Yeah,
sauce,
that's
while we're
awesome.
on this sauce, can you explain? You kind of gave a brief overview of the other four and how it all came, but what was the creative process and like deciding how you're going to use these particular spices and blends to get this sauce where it is? Was this the first go? You nailed it on the first try, or did you really have to hone this one in? Okay,
We, I'm
then
a
I can't wait for the
self-professed
closer.
nerd. I
Okay,
was a
okay.
chemistry
Science
student
nerd.
before
Okay,
going
yeah.
into the car business, so I'm a science geek. And I have an Excel spreadsheet that's I don't know how many pages long, and for every iteration of each recipe, we have a version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So each one. So if the version 8 was really bad, we could go back to version 7 and try something different
That's a
as
good
a
idea.
base. So we always had the previous
Okay.
one that we could go back to. And we did not nail a single one on the first try. Absolutely
No.
not. In fact, the mango ginger habanero started out bright yellow with
Wow.
yellow tomatoes and yellow peppers and yellow habaneros. And it turned out that those ingredients were actually really expensive and very, very seasonal. So we wanted something
Okay.
that we could produce at any time of the year. And the yellow was not the one. And so we started fresh
Thank you for
and
answering that.
and
I
came
love
up
the
with
Excel
the orange
spreadsheet.
one
No one's
instead.
ever kind of given us that behind the curtain look. Here's how we like to keep. That's such a good idea. Like every version 1, 2, 3, 4, so like this, and then you can see the changes. You can compare. We had so much sodium or so much pepper. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's down to the
Gotcha.
gram.
Yeah.
It's down to the gram. We've got the ingredient costs per pound, and it calculates down to the gram. So we know down to the penny what each and every single bottle costs us to make, including all the rental kitchen costs and all that stuff. So it's where all my old business skills kind of come together between the creative, the
Have you?
science madman, and the business knowledge.
And then every time we made a sample, we put them in little jars and we sent them out to
Mm-hmm.
people. We actually had a QR code on each of the hot
Oh, that's
sauce
so good.
caps, and everybody could fill out the survey. And
Yeah.
then,
Okay.
yeah, I thought you would love that. And well, we'll give John the credit for that. And then every time we got a new batch of comments, then we made another version, did the same thing, QR code. And it was like, some general, is it too salty, too spicy, too thin, too thick? Do you like this? Do you like that? There were like probably 20 questions, but every time we made a new batch, we sent them out to some people, and we knew some people had a
Mm-hmm.
heat tolerance. So after a certain point, it didn't go
Yeah.
to certain people. It went to people that could take a little extra heat. But you can see the color difference also. We have photos of maybe the first hot sauce that we made to the final. And sometimes I'm
Did it
so
not look
embarrassed that
appetizing?
we sent the original out because it.
The first generation Arbol looked like baby diapers. Like it was
Yeah.
horrible looking in
You guys, would you
comparison.
mind
Now,
me asking,
now it
when
has a
you're
rich
making the
color.
first time, when it's time to let's get this new sauce going, how do you measure, what size batch are you going for? Are you measuring we need 3 grams or we need 300 grams because you're trying to make one bottle of sauce to test, or you're making 100 bottles to test when it's the first go?
We
Okay,
usually
so
use
it's you
we have
guys in your kitchen with
it's
your
it's our
four
pride
quarter.
and
That's
joy. It's our
fantastic.
4 quart pot that we do in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about 8 to 10 bottles that we yield from that pot. It's enough to eat it, to give a little bit away, to let some people test it. It's not too much, right? Because each batch
The way,
costs us
yeah.
a certain amount,
And then you
and if
just
you
now
make too
you're
much
trying
at
to,
once and it's really horrible,
yeah.
it's expensive. So, but we use the tastes we like. We use the flavors, we use the spices that we like, and I think even with those surveys we did, because it's so subjective. People like this, they don't like that. You could have 5 people like it and 5 people hate something, and at the end of the day, we had to like it. And we had to say that if we reach in the refrigerator, ours will be the first one that we would reach for because it's the most, tasty and thick and
You got to like your
and
own brand.
flavorful.
I
And
mean,
hot
people say
and
you
so
don't want to
on.
get high on your own stuff, but you do. If you're making hot sauce, you don't want to sell something that you wouldn't put on everything you eat. Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, that's why they say never trust a skinny chef, right? You have to like your own stuff.
That's why Matty Matheson, that's my
I love
go-to
that.
chef. I
I
don't
never
care about
trust a
Jamie
skinny
Oliver
person in
and
general.
Gordon
Just
Ramsay's.
saying.
What do you
I'm
eat?
just saying. Jamie Oliver.
Okay.
So we had a process with developing the flavors until we finalized it and then sent it. We actually
Okay,
sent
yep.
it to Cornell, and they did the
Process authority.
process authority, tested everything. So once we got that, we were super happy. Also, just like on our label, we were thinking for the future what we could do. So we ended up putting the nutritional value facts on our hot sauce label. We also did the code, the barcode. We got those ready,
Yeah.
just so we would have. There's a space for it, but one day, they could be in all these big shops, and we're ready to go. So we'll grow, but it's not going to be too fast. But we're prepared. We're ready.
Yeah, we kind of thought everything through in advance because as a project manager, Bernie thinks out these things before they get executed, and so we built everything so that it could be scaled, so that we didn't have to redo everything later in order to scale, right? So we just kind of built it in such a way. We spent a few extra dollars in the beginning to secure the barcodes, but then we don't have to make all new labels with different space and adding barcodes later, and
That's a
it
good
just gets more
segue for
expensive
Hot
later
Sauce Guide.
than
You want to
just
talk to them about the
integrating it.
futures? We're wrapping up and being respectful of everyone's time.
Yeah, so we always kind of like to. You've discussed a little bit about maybe you teased another sauce coming out here at some point. What do you guys see? Left lane, what's the future look like? And then we always kind of after that like to have you tell us where everyone can find you.
Sure. Well,
So, as you know, we have a gear shift indicator, which is 1 through 6 plus a reverse. So right now our 4 sauces are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We don't yet have a completely mild sauce, which we envision to be something like a dipping sauce. And then we're working on a 6. We have let's just say it's more spicy than a habanero. And there's only one sauce that can be matched with an R. And you already know what it is. It starts with an R itself. It's the Reaper. So we have some ideas and thoughts about how to make a very, very tasty Reaper sauce to be the R on the gear shift.
No, that would be super, super
And
cool.
that's where we
Yeah,
are.
that's
We're
so
going to start
creative.
with sauces. We also at the beginning we called it Left Lane Pepper Company, not Hot Sauce Company, because we want to be about peppers. So we were thinking about rubs and other dry seasonings, things like this. So this way we can be flexible and expand the brand into other things that are not only necessarily hot sauce. So these are all considerations, but we just need to get the business really started and get it done right before we overreach and do too many things and are successful at nothing. We just want to be really successful with the core business first. Anything else, Bernie?
I think that's good.
And how do you find us?
Oh, and you find us on our website at www.leftlane.peppercompany, all one word.com. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome.
As Left Lane Pepper Company.
As Left Lane Pepper Company. And then on the business side, we're also on LinkedIn.
Cool.
Well,
So,
we really
you can
appreciate
connect
you
there.
guys spending some time with us. It was a pleasure to
Thank
hear your story, and I know I had tried it but got to enjoy the sauce again, and I know Turk liked it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what creation Slug makes. We'll have to follow up with you guys on that later. But thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll stay in touch, and we'll have to be on the lookout for that new sauce whenever it drops.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Talking Heat. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information, visit talkingheat.com.